Why you should never get two puppies at the same time. Maybe you got that breeder trying to push two puppies on you. Maybe you're going to the pet store and they say, we got a sucker, baby. They're thinking about getting one puppy. Let's push the other one on them, because you know those litter mates have to stick together forever and ever, and it's a damn lie. So in this video, we're going to tell you all the reasons why you should get one puppy and all the reasons why you should avoid getting two puppies. Let's get into it. Never buy two puppies at the same time. Let me give you some reasons why. Starting with littermate syndrome. It's a horrible thing to get, and once your dogs have it, very difficult to make them become a normal dog again. Also, it's double trouble. Now, it doesn't mean it's twice as hard to raise and train two dogs. It's easily 4 times as hard. You have to make double the investment if you were to have someone train your dogs for you, and at least double the investment when it comes to training the dogs, because you can't train them together to start. You got to train them separately. So everything starts to add up. Twice the amount of food, twice the amount of poop you got to pick up, twice the amount of times you might have to take them out, twice the amount of pee-pee accidents. It's a horrible, horrible idea. Most folks have enough difficulty raising and training one dog to be the best that it can be. When you add a second dog, it makes it at least 4 times harder. So my suggestion is get one dog, raise it and train it to be the best that it can be. And once it's awesome, maybe 1 or 2 years old, then think about getting the second dog. But you don't get dogs so that they become friends with each other. They're man's best friend. That's where I'm trying to get at. So what is littermate syndrome? Littermate syndrome is when you get two puppies of the same age, whether they're from the same litter or not, and they are raised together all day, every day, meaning they eat together, they sleep together, they play together, they do everything together. What ends up happening is they develop a pack unto themselves, and you become the zookeeper. So what do I mean? A zookeeper can go into a wolf pen, and the wolves like him. They'll let them pet him and maybe feed him, rub their belly, but he was never part of the pack. They're still wild and feral animals, and that's exactly what happens with dogs that get littermate syndrome. They become more wild, more feral. They develop Charlie Brown syndrome, meaning they won't even look you in the eye. You are just the asshole that brings them food and water and scratches their belly, but they don't need you. They are a pack unto themselves. They become very difficult to train, and when you talk about separation anxiety, if you separate one dog from the other, they absolutely lose their mind and they don't know how to function. So be very careful of littermate syndrome. Practical application of a downstay. So there's one of me, and I'm only gonna load up one dog at a time. So I'm gonna take little Miss Young Lady here, Miss Lola. Louie's gonna stay, pick her up, put her in, and then I can come back and get him, right? Because as you can see, really need both my hands for this. Now she needs to stay there, not jump out, not chase squirrels, while I go ahead and get him, okay, and load him up one at a time. So downstays, one of those killer obedience commands that you should have right next there to a recall. If you can get a recall and a downstay, you're about 90% of the way there. So I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're already in the market for a puppy, or maybe you just bought a puppy, or maybe you got another dog or two at home. Either way, the question you should be asking yourself is, where and how should I train my dog or puppy? Well, lucky for you, we got the answer. We have the most amazing online dog and puppy training courses available anywhere on the internet, available at DIYcanine.com.
I went to DIYcanine.com and I was shocked. Within 10 minutes, I was able to get my Vizsla to not pull at all.
I want to give a big thank you to DIY Canine and Garret Wing and his team for putting out the courses and for helping me train my dog from 0 to hero.
The results after taking the course were just amazing. In less than a week, I had the dog go from being extremely leash reactive to not pulling a single time anymore. Literally just follow his instructions and get the desired results.
Is there a time when you should get two puppies at the same time? I thought long and hard about it, and actually not that long. It took me about 3 seconds to think about it. I'm like, no, I really can't think of a time when getting two puppies at the same time makes sense for anyone, other than the excuse we hear a lot of times is,
well, I'm not gonna be around them a lot, so that dog is gonna need another dog to be friends with.
not when they're puppies, they don't, baby, because those puppies need a lot of time with you as a human. You can't rely on one puppy to raise and train another puppy. That is a disaster waiting to happen. So if you don't have enough time to hang out with the one puppy, getting two doesn't make it any better, it just makes it twice as bad. So really think about that before you run out there and get a dog. And for the love of God, you breeders out there that are pushing two puppies on one family at the same time, you should go to jail for that. It's a horrible, horrible idea. Stay far away from any breeder that tries to put two puppies on you at the same time. They're in it only for one thing, and that's the money. So how do we avoid littermate syndrome? So whether you're bringing two puppies home already, which you shouldn't be doing, or even if you're bringing a puppy home into a house that already has 1, 2, 3 or other dogs, that puppy can still develop some level of littermate syndrome if it's spending 100% of its time being basically raised by other dogs in the household, whether it's a puppy or an older dog. So how do we avoid that? The trick is to spend more time with the individual puppy than it does with other members of that pack, so it forms a tighter bond with humans. That means if you did get two puppies, or you're bringing one puppy home, I want you spending 95% of that time, that puppy needs to be spent with humans. The other 5% of the time absolutely can hang out with the other dogs. So what could that look like? 1 or 2 5, 10, 15-minute play sessions with the other dogs, but outside of that, it's training with you, it's eating with you, it could be sleeping with you, but it's walking with you, it's doing everything with you as a human, and then the little bonus cherry on top is another dog. All right, so to continue the conversation on the difficulties of having 2 dogs, I'm assuming when you get a dog, you'd like to take it places with you. Let me just tell you, when you bring 2 dogs out in public, everything is, once again, not twice as hard, easily 4 times as hard. Their motors are bouncing off of each other. One breaks the sit, you fix that sit, you gotta have 2 leashes. Most people aren't skilled enough to hold 2 dogs with 2 leashes, maintain control, maintain their attention. It just becomes tremendously harder. With the idea of you getting 2 dogs, you open up more fun for the dog? No, because when you go to take that dog somewhere, you're like, oh God, who are we taking? No, we can only take 1. God, if we take 2, what is that gonna look like? It's gonna be a little bit of a shit show. So now we've hopefully shed some light on why we believe getting 2 puppies at the same time is not really the smart choice. Think about that. Hope you all learned something. Post in the comments below, like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next one.